All right, the second part of creating your magazine cover is to add the remaining requirements: your title, your headlines, a barcode, and a secondary picture. Now, as you've noticed, I've already added my title by simply using the text tool or type tool. Next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some headlines. I'm going to make them smaller than my title was. Let's go about 36. And then I'm going to make sure that they're in a different typeface or a different font than my title. And for this, I'm going to go to Myriad, get something simple. Top 10 places to propose. And every time that I wanted to use another line, I just hit the return key on my keyboard. I can also format it to be left aligned or right aligned so that I can more easily create that magazine look. Remember, all your type options are up here on the top options bar. You can also highlight one part of it and make it a little bit bigger. And maybe decide that it looks better over there. I'm using the Move tool, these arrows over here on the top, to move my text around. Maybe go through that. And maybe I want to say what page it's on. Some magazines do this in a much smaller type next to their headlines. So now I need one more headline. And as you notice, I've just been clicking and typing. Another thing you can do to create a headline is click and drag and create a text box. This will keep you from having to hit return every time. Alright, but that might not be what you want. You can, though, adjust this box and everything in it as need be. You guys might be more used to text boxes, so if you like to click and drag, that might be exactly what you want to do. I'm going to copy this page number, bring it over here for consistency. This one's going to be on page 42. All right. So now that we got our three headlines, you're going to notice that the title goes in front of the groom's face. You can move any of these text layers that you see over here in your layers panel between any other layers. So I'm going to move Destination Weddings underneath my husband's face and above the background. Now it's starting to really look like a magazine. The next thing you're going to notice is that it gets a little hard to read "Where is the bride?" And places to propose. That white text over a white dress is, near impossible. So I'm going to come over here to the "Where is the bride?" and down at the very bottom here. Down at the very bottom here, you're going to notice that there is a FX button. If you say FX really quickly, FX, you get what it sounds. It sounds like effects. You can pick on any of these to open the main effects panel, but I'm going to choose stroke. So stroke adds an outline to your text. I like to put it on the outside, and you can make it at any size that you want. Here you can see that I've made it 100 pixels big, but maybe just 6 or 5 is what I need. You can also put it on the inside of the text, center on the edge of the text, but again, outside usually looks best. You can change the color to anything in this colors panel. You could also, once you come out of the colors panel, the eyedropper tool is active, and I can select this green so that everything ties in a little bit better. And you can also change how see-through it is. Maybe you just want it to be a little bit of a standout. Now you can apply that exact same stroke to the top 10. The last used stroke is what is going to show up. But there's also other options that you can do. You can do a drop shadow and put a shadow underneath your text. As you can see, it starts to look like it pops out. You could also do a outer glow. Notice you'll have to uncheck the box to see what it looks like. Now, to have my text glowing white probably doesn't help it stand out. The drop shadow or the stroke or a combination thereof is probably your best bet. You can also do the same thing with any images you have. I can put a stroke on the outside of me and my husband. I can do a drop shadow to us. I can make us glow, look so heavenly. Color overlay, satin. Go ahead and play around with these options. So I'm just going to make everything match for my sake here. Yeah. And then maybe add a nice bright stroke. Maybe this yellow that's hiding in the background here, the gold of his shirt. There we go. So we're missing 2 things still. We need a small image, and then we need the barcode. For my small image, I'm going to use a passport. I think that fits in with destination, the places to propose, maybe where the bride has disappeared to. And I'm going to go to Google Images, and I'm going to make sure the usage rights is labeled for non-commercial reuse. So that we're not just outright stealing from the internet. So next I'm going to try to find a picture of a passport that I'd like to use. This looks good. Well, it's a little small though. So let's go size. Large to make sure we have a good quality image. Let's see what we got with that. Sometimes you have to refine it. We'll seal this one. Open image in new tab. Still way too small. Maybe these ones. Open image in new tab. Doesn't work. Happens. Open image in new tab. What do we got? Nope, that's not happening. So let's pick something else. Let's do ring. We'll just do a wedding ring. Alright, let's get a basic one. We still have label for non-commercial reuse. And we're going to click and drag that to the desktop. Now you're going to notice that you see the grid from Photoshop already here. That is letting you know that this particular image does not have a background. So I'm going to open image in a new tab, click and drag that way so that I do it properly. I didn't do it properly last time. But let's say I found an image that did have a background. You could simply just use the layer mask that we did from the last video onto any image you use. From here, click and drag. Now hold down Shift, resize, and hit return. Last thing we need is that barcode. So let's take a look at our handy dandy Google. And we're going to go to Photography 1, scroll down to your magazine cover assignment, click on the barcode, make it large so it opens in a new tab, click and drag to the desktop, and click and drag this. Now it's still underneath my husband, but we can reorder that. Drag it to the top. And there is my finished magazine cover. After that, you want to File, Save As. Make sure you format it to a JPEG, that it gets saved properly in your Google Drive, My Drive, and into your photography folder, and then go ahead and hit Save. Go ahead and hit the quality of 12 maximum on your JPEG options, and click OK. From here, make sure that you upload the JPEG version to Schoology. Do not upload the Photoshop or .psd version. If you upload the .psd, you will automatically receive an incomplete for this assignment until you upload the JPEG version.